Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to do another throwback, this time again to Siege. This is of course Generation Select Red Wings, so we're going to have a quick look at him in both of his modes. Happy to decide which way you want to display him. I'm going to bring in some other figures and some other Seekers etc, just to see I suppose how he displays with them, and I suppose just how different this Tetrajet style is from some of the other designs. So as I very quickly just move him out of the way, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, I'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. So yeah, I'm doing a few Siege things for a couple of reasons. One, I wasn't doing a channel when Siege came out, and I was a little bit more selective with what I was buying back then, because yeah, and this particular one just really did stand out to me. To be honest, I didn't know much about it at all, but I just really like the colour scheme. Now, unfortunately, the Generation Selects box were quite bland, like this, which you can see. I did like the fact that that panned across two sides, though. And again, you wouldn't know what was even inside it unless you read that. The rest of the box is, of course, quite bland. The War for Cybertron trilogy is in there. I think we got some Cybertronian markings, and this was before the time when they started to get rid of plastic inserts, so we've got the plastic insert in there. The instructions as well were your standard Siege, so what I mean by that is they were black, white and purple, because of course he is a Decepticon. Right, let's bring this in, and I think I must have said it at least once before on some of the other reviews of these Tetrajets. Siege and War for Cybertron was a toy line that initially I wasn't really going to collect, because sort of by the time I'd got round to this, I'd been collecting, you know, so many years and got so many figures. But then they went and did things like this, figures which of course they'd never done before, and again, being as old as I am, the Tetrajet for me was just so nostalgic, so I just had to start buying them, unfortunately. And I think this guy, with him being bright red, is brilliant. I think it just really, yeah, the colours just sort of pop. The Decepticon logo is in there, the translucent plastic is on the front, which works well. The guns, of course, you can either put there or you can put there, and I'm pretty sure, let me see if I can find one, that they were blast effect compatible as well, so that made them even more fun. I think was it Siege, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Siege that we yes, it must have been, because there was a multi-pack, and of course Jetfire had them. I was going to say, was it Siege where we started to see blast effects, and I'm pretty sure that it in fact was, yes. And as you can see, it did, they just worked, and it's really weird because I appreciate them now a lot more than I did back then, and I've said that a few more times on other videos as well. I also like the way that, okay, yeah, it was just folding the legs up and tucking up, but it still seemed quite neat, and it still seemed to keep everything tucked away quite neatly. So with regards to size compared to Seeker jets, that of course is a core class, nowhere near as big, and then these were much bigger. The main, of course, Voyager class Seekers were much bigger in height, but of course nowhere near as chunky. The Seeker jet, as it should be, is much more streamlined, and do you know what, they look completely different, which I also think is great to, I suppose, compared to some other jets. They hold their own, they're still brilliant. I'm hoping, I say hoping, because we've had Origins, Wheeljack and Jazz etc, I am actually hoping that we'll get an Origin version of Thundercracker etc with a really spiky point. But to be honest, there isn't really much more to say about the alternate mode. Let's come back and have a look at him in the robot and do a few more comparisons. So we're back, and he's in his robot mode, and to be honest, this is how I've had him displayed pretty much since purchasing him. Apologies, no transformation process in this video. That is to keep the main length of the video down, and also because there is a transformation tutorial for the Tetrajet online on my channel anyway. So if you want to see it, in fact, I'll put a link or in the description to one of them anyway, because of course they are all the same. These are so clever though. Again, I just think they look fantastic. This guy, actually, I can't make it out on it, I can't show you unfortunately, does have look like piping, which is great. Through to the eyes, you can just about make out there that they are the same plastic that is of course on the front, which is brilliant. And it's quite clever because, let's be honest, it didn't even have that cockpit at the front. It didn't have that at all. It had that, so it's interesting why they decided to put that on the front. In fact, it's always been interesting to me why they had a cockpit on anything in Cybertron, because of course there weren't humans on Cybertron, but I suppose that's a topic for another debate at another stage. Siege. So these were pretty articulate, to be fair. You could rotate the head all the way around. You could see that it could look up and down as well, even though that was mainly for transformation. You could take the arms out to the full T. If you move the wings, you could also go down, fully rotate them as well. You can rotate them at any angle that you wanted to, bringing it down, swivel at the top of the shoulder, flex at the bicep, which was great. And even though the fists and everything tucked away inside there, full rotation. With the wings, you can position these up, down, out to the side, maneuver them around to however you wanted to, and you could still get away with, I'm sure you can, even with all this kibble on the back. Can you just, no, you can't. You definitely can't. I thought you could. Apologies, you can't, but you've got enough of a waist swivel, but not a full 360. The legs will kick all the way forward, definitely roundabout to the splits. Going back, no, it's hindered by there, but if you just twist the waist or just bring it slightly out, you've got way more range of articulation. The legs will, this is where they really go good though. The knee will bend all the way back on itself, probably about 120 degrees, something like that there. You've got the thigh swivel at the top. You've got an ankle tilt, rock, heels tap, toe tap, heels up and down. Again, fully articulate. I suppose the only thing you don't have is an ab crunch. Let's be honest. Things to be aware of, these have a tendency to pop off during transformation processes, and that's pretty much across most of the molds. Now, because he's not Starscream, you don't have to have his blasters, or of course Starscreams are referred to as null rays. You don't have to have them on the top of his shoulders. You could, of course, like I'm trying to do now. Now you can tell this hasn't been played with. That was one of the other things I was dead guilty of before I started the channel. I'd buy a figure and stick it on a shelf. So to be honest, I think that was the first time that he's ever been transformed, because he came in robot mode and I got him into alternate mode for the video, and that would explain why he nearly broke my nail, etc. while I was trying to do it. So yeah, you can put the blasters in his arms. Talking of Starscream, I'm sure that was the first use of the mold. This again is the Tetrajet. You can see with his on the side, you can see how sort of different they look. I also love the fact that the way Wolf Cybertron just looked all gritty and dirty. Now, of course, there's others I've reviewed, loads of them on here, but I'm just going to bring the Skittle pack as it was a very I love the fact that it was called the Skittle Pack, to be fair. If you didn't know that, they called the Rainmakers the Skittle Pack for obvious reasons. And when I put them with all these together, the colour schemes just looked great, to be honest. They really did. Not to be confused with Thundercracker. Thundercracker's a different shade of blue. But let me move these out of the way. It's just crazy that, as I say, it's as long ago as it is that these came out. Just very quickly, I will show you that you can, of course, attach them there if you wanted to. And you could even put them on the side. Yeah, this has definitely never been done before. You could even pop them into, with a little bit of force, onto the side of the forearms as well. And that's what I really like about all of these, which came with all the 5mm ports, all the crazy things that you could do with them. So as I say, height wise, a real good Voyager sort of class size. He was deluxe. He's Voyager, obviously. I know it's completely different, you know, sort of figures and toy lines, but there was a Voyager just about as big. He's proper on the slant, but of course nowhere near as big as either of these guys. But overall, a great figure, and again, we're lucky that we are going to start getting some reissues. They've already confirmed, of course, we're going to get the reissue of Skywarps, the people who missed out on him. I wonder if they'll do the same with this guy. But that is my quick review on a great figure that, you know what, I've just really enjoyed getting off the shelf and having to play with. This is and was your Generation Selects War for Cybertron Siege Red Wing. Thanks for watching. Take care.